smells good. Good gala, actually. I'm also a big fan of Fuji, but I especially love the ones that are a bit sour. How well do people do mukbangs? It's so hard to talk when you got food in your mouth. What can I say? Doing this a little after lunchtime. I'm still a little hungry. And very good fruit. A lot of good nutrients. I like it. And there's a crunch to it. If I immediately bite into a soggy apple, terrible. Just throw it out. But this is a good one. Nice and red. Apparently there's like a rare species of apple. And instead of it being red, it's purple. I've only ever seen it in pictures. So I'd have no idea where it grows. Maybe it's in the same area where those blue bananas come from. People tell me they taste like vanilla ice cream. Personally, I'm not that big a fan of bananas. Or at least the Cavendish type. Maybe those blue ones would be good for a whirl. Crazy thing is, you can buy the seeds. And you don't need to live in a tropical place for it either. I'm trying to think if there are any other weird apple facts. Well, the apples I'm used to seeing are either red, green, or yellow. Or, one of the more common ones I see, it's a combination of the two. So for instance, this one has a little bit of a yellowish tinge to it as well. But I've also seen red ones with hints of green in there. What's your opinion on the Red Delicious? I'd only ever see them at hotels. I'm sure they gotta keep a while, but there's no taste. This has a taste. This is a nice gala, if I didn't say that already. I will admit, at least the Red Delicious look nice. After all, they come with their own feet. Something different. And it's one of the few apples I know of. It's just one solid color. This is of course Granny Smith. I like them a lot. But there's a part of me that's just worried that I'm going to lose teeth on a Granny Smith one of these days. It's a very tough fruit. Probably about the toughest I can think of. At least that you're just supposed to chomp into. I guess they could say you can chomp right into a kiwi. But given the fuzzy skin, I think that would taste pretty weird. Doing that with a pineapple, I think would be very painful. And I've only ever really seen pomegranates in pictures. So I don't know if a pomegranate is something that you can just bite into like an apple. If only there was a way you could eat oranges like this. But much more convenient. Although I do love the idea that nature has its own serving size. I think that's about it. It's almost the end of the apple. That's good. I always find it weird in cartoons whenever you just have like the middle eaten and then it's like two big sides. Who eats an apple? Who eats an apple like that? I mean, you're just leaving so much fruit on the top and the bottom. Yeah, well, I hope you don't mind the change of pace. The main reason I wanted to start off this video with eating an apple was to just kind of go into the first major point I went through this month. The main two themes I ran into is just the idea of being grateful. What I just did right there, I could be put to death in certain countries for doing that. But not in the one I live in. I've been hearing a lot about a lot of suffering as I've been going through. For me, it's not really so much of a question where I get clean water from. I just get it from the tap. Where am I going to get food? I can go to the grocery store. I have a roof over my head. It's not to say that life is perfect because, well, I'm not some sort of billionaire celebrity that never has to worry about bills or taxes ever again. But, in the grand scheme of things, I've realized through this month that I have pretty good. And there's almost like a little bit of a guilt assigned to that. The idea of like, what did I do to deserve this? Almost like how people probably go through with survivor's guilt. The idea of like, well, how come I'm lucky to get all this while other people aren't? And then I know some people will be like, hey, why don't you just share some of your good fortune? Well, things are pretty tight in this day and age. If I were to do that, then I may well become one of the people that I was describing earlier. But I guess I could say it was a bit of a meditative month in that aspect. Just really putting into perspective that me having a little bit of a crisis, if I want to choose one show over another, it's nothing compared to, who knows, like several thousands, if not tens of thousands of people that go to sleep wondering if they're ever going to find food the next day. But the only thing I have to add on top of that, this is going to seem so unconnected, and, well, it is. But all my life, I've run into people that have gotten pressure from their parents, or just society, and the idea that once you reach a certain age, you gotta get married, and you have to have a kid. And, well, the marriage part, obviously the idea of the marriage looks a little different since I've started transitioning. But I never really understood the appeal of kids. I mean, I've been around babies here and there, and I'm just like, why do people think these things are cute? They're disgusting. But the only child I ever really saw that was cute was, well, my nephew. Which, maybe that's where the cuteness comes in, the idea that you already have an emotional attachment to said baby all of a sudden. But even then, I do know that for a good chunk of trans people out there, the idea of never being able to conceive a child is something that, like, legitimately pangs them. Well, for me, I'm just kind of like, hey, I could just do it forever and not have to worry about little feet crawling around after 9 months. In several ways, I feel like I've cheated the system. I've made a superior me. I don't have to worry about periods. At least that I know of. And I don't have to worry about getting pregnant. But the main reason that I bring all this up, I subscribed to Crunchyroll recently, and this is not a sponsorship or a plug if you prefer, but well, I wouldn't mind getting a check for it either because wow, the streaming service has a lot on it. The main reason I bring that up is one of the shows I'm currently watching through is called Spy Family. And there's just something about the way they portray Anya. I'm like, okay, I get it now. This is the reason why people love to have kids because take it, she's just so freaking adorable. And just an absolute blast of a character. But one of the other things I like about her, and I'm not really sure if this is a trope, but this is something I've always loved. Whenever there is a character that is portrayed as like really cute and wholesome, but yet somehow they have like a very dark edge to them. Now, the only other example I can think of is Star versus the Forces of Evil. I think it was one of the first few episodes where it was meant to be a football game, but Star mistook it as a battle royale, and so she's just recounting her childhood, how one of the people she was raised by was like the head executioner. So you just see him demonstrating on a teddy bear. It's just like, alright, and this is how you take down an opponent. Just twist until you hear the crack. You see the head fall off, and you just see 4-year-old Star going, yay! I feel like that's also Anya in a nutshell. It's just like, oh, they got a semi-automatic silence pistol. I would love to have one of those. So suffice to say that I am absolutely loving Spy Family. And in case you're curious, the last episode I ended on was the idea of there is this conspiracy with dogs going on. It's like part 2 of the arc, I believe. It's where there is a disguise in place, and it ended just at the moment where one of the dogs is about to attack a high-up dignitary. I'm trying to keep it vague if you miss Spy Family like I have. But for those of you that know, I feel like I gave a pretty good description. So, yeah, that's all I've got. A little bit of a mukbang, an appreciation for how things are right now, and also realizing what the appeal of having a kid is like. However, out of all the aspects of that show, I mean, minus Anya, because dang it, she's so adorable, there is also something about the idea that I feel like Yor and Lloyd have a very wholesome relationship. Well, the family they might have created was fake. I feel like the love they have for each other is real, and there's just something kind of nice about that heartwarming family dynamic. People tell me that's what the appeal of Bluey is, why there's so many adults watching that show, because it's like, oh, is this what it's like to be growing up with loving and accepting parents? I very much subscribe to the theory of better late than never. And I guess similar thing here. And I guess maybe some would call it like a found family trope, but I don't know. I feel like I've run into other people in my life that could kind of fit the role of the mother or the father that I wish I could have had growing up. Of course, I guess if you just have like a really good friend that's caring, it just depends on what gender they are, and if they're non-binary, then you get a papa mom. Yeah, that's basically all I've got. If there's anything else you'd like to talk about that is not politics, feel free to leave a comment down below. And until next time, be yourself, no matter who that is.